Hey everybody, and welcome back to a new episode. As you can hear, this episode is going to be a little bit different, and so are all the new upcoming episodes a little different, because those next episodes will be with a lot of interviews with mostly my roommates about Sweden, the Swedish way of life, the university system here in Sweden, and also some other perspectives on the Erasmus year. And this episode is going to be my uni, your uni, and I invited my roommate Daniel, since he is possibly the best suited person on this corridor to do that. So let's welcome Daniel. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing fine. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, but it's great. I've been up for an hour, so I'm hopefully awake enough.
Yeah, me too. Well, then let's just start with the short introduction. So everybody knows your name now, but how about age, where you're from, what you study, and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'm 24. I started my life in Hungary, in Budapest, and then I moved to Sweden, to southern Sweden, when I was 12 years old. And after a while, I moved up to Karlstad to study a bit more. I started my life as a car mechanic, and then I went into car electronics, and then I thought that I would like to save the world, so I went to study environmental stuff
Cool.
at the university. And then, like, already the first year, I started my student engagement with something called Climate Students. We also have a climate student group in Germany. We are international. So then I was sitting in the board of International Board of Climate Students for a year. Was the president of the group for half a year, and then I somehow became the president of the student union here at Karlstad University. So now I didn't finish my environmental studies. I still have 1 year left, but I put that on ice while I'm doing all this president kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a lot to handle there. And I think we're going to talk about what the student union is a little later in the podcast. So stay tuned until then. But it's been a minute that you're arrived to Karlstad and stuff and decided to study. Why did you choose the university?
Well, it was close. I think that was the only reason. Or I moved into this corridor about 5 years ago. And then we had a girl here studying. Her name was Tura. And she was studying environmental things.
Oh.
So she was mostly the reason that I wanted to study this specific program, because she came home and told us a lot of interesting stuff all the time. And then also when I was working as a truck mechanic here, people really didn't care about the environment, so I wanted to do something. And after she introduced me to all these environmental things, I thought that that's what I'm going to do. And I mean, it was close. The university is 7 minutes walk away from here, so it was an easy choice.
Yeah, but it's cool that you actually met her so that you could pursue your way and do that the same, basically study the same. So
Yeah.
that's a coincidence and something like faith in life, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really believe in faith, but sure.
But it's cool that you ended up where you ended up, so that I could also meet you today.
Yeah, there's a lot of coincidences in my life, definitely.
But I wanted to know, what are the biggest universities in Sweden that you maybe could have also chosen from if it wasn't about because Karlstad is the closest.
Yeah, so the two university or actually 3 universities I was thinking about. One of them was GU, University of Gothenburg, and the other one was SU, the University of Stockholm, and then also SLU, which is the, let's see, what is it called? it's a university out of two in Uppsala, because they have Uppsala University and then they have this agriculture university, which is like famous for their environmental studies and so on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know that also is like in a university, a very specific one. But that's interesting. So, what I've learned now in like my first course, since we looked a little bit at education here in Sweden, is that there are like in high school you have like university programs and another program that wouldn't lead to a university way. Does that mean that you have to like decide in high school where you want to go afterwards, or how does it work going from like high school to university?
You could jump from one thing to another. So I know people that studies my program, for example, that went to we call it estate, which is I don't know, but more artsy stuff. Yeah, and basically the rumor goes that if you study that, you're not going anywhere in your life and you're gonna work at McDonald's or something.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have more like economics, and then we also have like more humaniora kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, from those programs you are usually going to university, because otherwise you don't have like an education at all. So you can't just finish there and start work somewhere. But there is several different ways to go after that. So yeah, so there is different kind of high schools as well that puts you directly into a job which is like 1.5 year long or just 1 year long or something, and it's really focused on the exact job that you're about to do. Then there is all these like job preparing schools, like high schools that are not higher education things that you go directly after middle school.
Yeah.
And I went to one of those studying car mechanics. So there you could study to be a truck driver, for example, a construction worker. You could study to be like an electrician, a truck mechanic, a machine mechanic, and all types of these things that doesn't require a higher education.
Yeah. So basically, also, let's put it like a person who switched from path A to path B.
Yeah. So that's why I also had to do another year of education before, because I chose a program, or I chose some extra things that I could study. For example, math and a bit more humaniora stuff, and natural sciences at high school, but it still wasn't enough to get into the university. So then there is actually a program at this university that's called the college year.
Okay.
Because we don't really have college in Sweden that prepares you for the university.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like it's kind of the same concept, so it's called the college year. So it's 50% university, and then 50% something we call folkhögskola, which means people's high school.
Yeah.
Or people's higher education institution, more exact. And then you study like high school subjects over there, but after you finished high school.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you do it 50-50, so the university things prepares you to do university stuff, like write essays and basic philosophics and what is knowledge, so more philosophical kind of things. While at the same time while you're getting prepared for the university, you also get other subjects that you need to get into the university.
Yeah.
And going from the college year, if you go directly to the university, there is one spot at every program at the university that is saved for people that went to this college year. Yeah, so I didn't have to go through anything else because I already had my place there. I knew that if I just finished and I got my grades, I would directly get in without any complications. Yeah.
Wow, but that's very interesting because you like also like mentally prepare for what is coming there, and like prepare also like what will university be like with like writing essays and stuff like that. Because I feel like in German education, it's like when you come to high school and people or when you go to university, people tell you like write term papers and write essays, and you like basically fold it and be like, how do I write those things? But that's cool that they actually do that also in the college year.
Yeah, it was really cool and really helpful. So I guess that's why I got the highest grade on my first essay.
Wow.
While everyone else was like, I don't even know what to do. And I was like, why not? This is easy. Yeah.
No, that's very cool.
Yeah, it was cool, like going a whole course about how to write essays.
Yeah.
It was really helpful.
We also have that like in our first semester. We do have a course like that as well. And it's so helpful for every year that's like every semester that's coming up. So I know what you're getting there. So
Cool.
Now you made it to university, luckily. Does university cost something in Sweden, or is it free for everybody?
It's free. I think there is like private universities that could cost, but almost all of the universities are free. So I don't pay anything to go to the university. I'm actually getting paid by the state for going to the university.
Yeah, I heard something like that you actually get paid for it.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot. It would cover my rent, the money that I get, but then there is a separate loan as well, and they just and it's like a really cheap loan.
Yeah, but I still think that's a good support for a student to go to university and at least pay the rent for.
Yeah, definitely.
For it, so.
Yeah, I mean, in Germany you have to pay for like almost everything.
Yeah, you have the chance to get like a BAföG, so that you get money from the state as well, that you have to pay back at a certain time in your life. And
so it's basically a loan.
Yeah, but it also depends on what your parents get. So it's not free for everybody. For example, I don't get anything because my parents earn too much money.
Yeah.
And that's a little, but everybody gets it.
In Sweden?
In Sweden.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And you can like, in Sweden we really believe in that you can choose different paths of your life at different ages. So I actually met an old guy at the university that was 61 years old.
Wow.
And then I talked to someone that had talked to him. And this old guy said like, yeah, his wife died and he just wanted to do something else. So he started studying at the university.
Wow.
And I also have a 50-year-old woman in my class. And she's also just studying here. She's actually German.
Oh.
Yeah, so she was like studying biology in Germany. And then wanted to move to Sweden, and she wanted to learn all these scientific terms in Swedish. So she thought that like she would just study at the university and learn all this stuff instead of sitting at home. Yeah, so now she's studying a whole program here. Yeah, so whenever in your life you feel like you want to reschool yourself or get like another education or get a higher education, you are always getting supported by the state.
Yeah. Wow. But I also feel like that's very an inspiring thing, like seeing elderly people, or at least older people around 50 or 60 still going to university and having fun with that. Because we do actually have that at our university as well, that you sometimes see a group of like women and men coming from a class and being happy that they just had a class, basically. That's so cool.
Yeah, cool. I mean, if I stop working or something, it would be really cool to go to an education or just learn something new, keep your brain together.
Yeah, always develop. I, as an exchange student, have like one course in like 1 month, and I'm getting like a little confused by it because like every month changes to another course. Is that the norm for you guys as well? That you always have like one course for 1 month, or do you have like one for a semester as well?
It depends on the course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is bigger courses and there is smaller courses. I mean, you in Germany take several courses during the year, and then in the end you have all the exams of all the courses. That's pretty damn stressful.
It is.
Yeah, so I also got surprised when I came here, like, what, are we just studying like one thing at a time?
Mm-hmm.
So here, instead of, for example, taking 2 years in one course, we just have a longer course. But usually we only study one course at a time. And then when that's finished, we go on to the next course. So our exams is not only in the end of the year and so on.
Yeah, you have like in between exams as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we finish one course and then that's finished, so you don't have to think about it anymore. But you can also study several courses at the same time. I think you can only study 4 courses at the same time, but then that's really hard because, I mean, even if if all of them is 25%, I mean, we have the percentages of how much time it is taking. And 100% course is 8 hours a day. Yeah. So there is 25%, 33% courses as well, and 50%, and I don't think we have 75, but it's 50 or 25 usually. Yeah. So for example, Gustav is mostly studying, or during this year, I think, or the last year, he always studied 2 courses at the same time. So 2 50% courses that run for a bit longer. But usually it's one course.
I still don't know what I like better, if I like mine better or if I like this one better. But since I only have like 3 courses for like this semester, I think it's still something different for me being here than for you guys being here.
Yeah, so then it's 2 7.5 courses and 115.
115, yeah. And I think it's a lot of work for 1 month. And it's like so because you have like 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 lectures every week and so many like things to hand in, and that's why I'm like, I don't know if what I like better, if it's my kind of timetable or your kind of timetable.
Well, how do you like studying during the summer and writing your essays during the summer?
That's a very dangerous question for me since I got a little overwhelmed this summer. But usually we stop in July, and then you have like until September, end of September, to hand it in. And I think like in 3 months, if everything goes as normal, besides that what I have, I think it's quite good to handle. I mean, yeah, it's stressful to have like exams, like 2 or 3 exams per week, but you get over that time.
Because we go on summer break in the middle of June.
Yeah.
And then we come back on the last of August or in the very beginning of September. So then we are totally free. We don't have anything. You can take summer courses if you want to. And I know that our friend Gustav studied the whole summer because he had a lot of exams that he had to redo because his program is really tough. Yeah.
I'm still like thinking about what way I like better. It's good to have like a long summer break where you know like you have nothing to do, because I think for us the so-called Prüfungsamt, like the guys that plan the exams, they just don't plan anything like in August, I believe, and the rest are basically planned out. So
yeah. I know, I like this way really much because you can like really get deeply into a subject and not just study for the exam. Because I mean, when I was at high school and we had several subjects at the same time, then it was always like not doing anything, just going to the lectures and so on, and then in the end like just really stressing.
Yeah.
So I think that this thing that puts a little bit of pressure all the time makes me do my things that I should do.
Yeah, that's true. It's like having better focus and might maybe dive more deeper into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess you have a point there. What I also heard about like the studying here, that you do more at home than you like do in class. Is that true, or?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, in class you are only there to listen something, so you don't really get things to do.
Yeah.
So then during your free time, which is not your free time, you should study 8 hours per day for it to be good. You have to like read books and write essays and so on. So that's mostly it, to just read.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of books.
Because I had like from a previous semester, she told me that they're doing a lot of home instead of like doing in-person classes. So that's why I was like asking for it.
Yeah, so they have classes from home,
Yeah.
like in distance.
Like no, she
on
was
Zoom?
here as well, and there you had like more, like just going for discussions basically, and just talking about what you got from books or what you have basically taught yourself, and then just exchanging it and waiting to get the new work for home. So not working like in class and like reading something or stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't read in class really. So if they didn't have any lectures, then it's like, I don't know. But some of the courses are like half part online, so that you have like pre-recorded lessons and so on. So then you just look at them and then read the books and answer some questions. And then we have these discussion forums. Yeah, and that's also like a good spirit that we have in Sweden, that we like to learn by discussion.
Yeah.
Because I really love that. I really love to like sit and discuss, because I feel like that's when I actually understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get the knowledge and know things, but I really like understanding things, because I think that when you understand it, that's when you like actually learn.
And it's, I think, also a good way of exchanging ideas and thinking about things that you might have not considered before. So
Definitely.
agree with you. So roundabout normal study amount is like 8 hours every day.
Yeah. If it's more than 8 hours per day, then you are doing something wrong, or the teachers are doing something wrong. Because we have this course evaluation that we have to fill in after every course that we have taken, and then we have to fill in like how much time we put into our studies during the course. So if you say like 12 hours a day, and like all of your classmates say 12 hours a day, then they have to make it a bit easier, because then there is like way too much to do.
Yeah, we have those evaluations actually as well. But I am always a little confused how much I actually studied per day. So because we don't focus on one course, so it's always like remembering, okay, when did I did something for the course, because like all the overlapping stuff. Yeah, maybe that's also a good thing to have like one course per month.
Yeah, if you sit 8 hours, I mean, I have never been sitting with 8 hours per day for a course. It's way too much. Yeah, so I think that if you are doing it efficiently and having some easier courses, you can easily do it by just like sitting focused for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But it also depends on the courses.
And the person as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now coming to your special function at the university. Tell everybody what the student union is.
So the student union is basically kind of the same as in Germany, just that we don't have to pay a fee, like pay a fee. Yeah, it's a fee, right? Yeah. So here in Sweden, you don't have to be a part of the student union.
Yeah.
Actually, at like one university, you still have to. I think it's Jönköping's university, because they are also like private owned, so they can choose a bit for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our main job is to take care of the students and the educational quality and so on. So when students have problems with different things, maybe a course is too hard, or you feel like a teacher is not treating you as they are supposed to treat you or something like that, you can come to us and we are taking the fight for the students instead of the students having to take them. So, and we are also working with a lot of representation, like within the municipality, for example, and I'm also sitting in the board of the university, and also in like really a lot of different parts at the university. So we are working with like the local strategical group as well, which means that they are handling the classrooms and the physical learning environments at the university, and yeah, like a lot of different things. But we don't only do that, so we are not only focused on the quality of education and the well-being of the students. We are also trying to make a better student life. So we are working a lot with arranging different events.
Yeah.
And we also this year actually kind of made a business out of getting free things for students and getting a lot of cheap things for the students.
The bikes, for example, like at the beginning.
Yeah, the bikes was also one of the things. We had a bike campaign where we invited some stores selling used bikes, so the students could come there and buy some bikes in the beginning of this semester. But also a lot of local discounts at restaurants and so on. So what we do for them is that we advertise them at the university for students, because everyone wants to have like a lot of students. So we are advertising them, and for the advertisement they don't pay us money. Instead they give like 20% cheaper food to our students and so on. So that's what we have been making a business out of this year.
But I think that's very convenient for you, and also for like all the other students, and maybe also for the business owners, since they get more people coming there.
Yeah, definitely. And I went bowling yesterday.
Yeah.
Because we get it for half price.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was at the coffee shop, or was it a coffee shop? No, or was it just basically coffee?
Yeah.
I think, was it Le Croissant or something?
Oh, Le Croissant.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the first time I noticed that you actually can save some money when you show your student card.
Yeah,
So
but I don't think we have a special agreement with them. They only have like a student discount. But what we are working on is to make it worth to be a part of the student union, to become a member.
Yeah.
So the most of these things that we do is only if you show up that you are a part of Karlstad Studentkår, like the student union in Karlstad.
And I know you also had like those, if you like be a member of the student union at the beginning of the semester, you also got like those wristbands that you could use to get into Nöjesfabriken, for example.
Yeah, so that's what we do during the introduction week to get all the students' attention. We arrange a lot of parties. Like this time it was, I think 6 or 8 parties at nightclubs during just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Where you could go in for free if you had that wristband instead of paying 150 crowns.
Yeah.
So, and the membership only cost 250 for the whole year. So if you just went to the club to party twice out of these 8 times, it was already worth it and you already saved money.
And I know a lot of exchange students especially took the opportunity to actually become a member of the student union just to get into Nöjesfabriken.
Yeah.
For everybody who doesn't know, Nöjesfabriken is like one of the biggest clubs in Karlstad.
Yeah, it is the biggest.
The biggest? Yeah, that's the biggest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's the biggest club in Karlstad. So, yeah, if you come here.
I think it's the biggest in like Värmland. In
Oh,
our county.
really?
Yeah.
I just heard like there are 3,000 places to go in there or something like that. How do you put it? Like 3,000 people can go in there, something like that.
Yeah, they fit 3,000 people.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's so insane. But what is your opinion like on the concept of the student union? I mean, you're the president of it, so.
So what people think about the student union?
Yeah, and what you think about student union?
Yeah, so previous years the student union hasn't been doing really good. But this year is the first year that we actually feel like that it is going well. I mean, last year I was sitting in the board of the student union, and then we stabilized the whole organization, so it wasn't going down anymore.
Yeah.
And this year we are only going up. So already after the first week at the university, we had more members than we had the whole year, the whole previous year.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so after just 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is really going well now, I feel like. Our economics is great, the people really like to hang out at the student union. I think it will be even better next year because I mean, the older students still don't really care about the student union because they have known it from before, and they have never really understood what the student union is for. So that's why we are trying to have as much representation as we can at like every places. So we are hosting speeches during the introduction. We are open a lot more and go to different events and talk to students and so on. So it really feels like it's going well now, and it feels like the people know what's better.
But I feel like it's also very important to have something like that, to have a good quality for students and to make sure that this quality is maintained in university.
Yeah, definitely. The only hard thing is to get them to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because they are like, what, you're going to represent me anyways? And we are, yes, of course. But it would be good to, like, it's like a kind of a crowdfunding.
Yeah.
You know, we, us students, together we finance something bigger that will make everything better for us. It's like an insurance. Like, you pay a certain amount of money every months, and you don't know if you are ever going to use it, but just in case, it would be good to have the insurance.
Yeah.
So it's an insurance for your student life, or one kind of crowdfunding for big parties, because we also put up a really big party which cost us 7,000 euros in the beginning, and that wouldn't be possible if we didn't have members.
Yeah.
Then we wouldn't have money. So instead of just like buying some cans of beer and sitting at home for one night and drinking, you can become a member, pay us the money, and then we will put all of those people's money together and then go to a party or like go and do like a huge party instead.
Yeah. I think it's very important to keep that up. So, and I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Keeping that up and doing so good. And I think it's something that everybody can get something from it. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying.
Yeah, but it's good. So you actually do have time besides university to party and hang out with friends.
Yeah, I do now. I started to, I tried to study at the same time, but I gave it up last week. Because, I mean, we are only 5 weeks into our studies, and I was already 3 weeks behind.
Oh.
So I felt that it was a bit too stressful, so I'm just gonna pick up my studies when I finished this president stuff.
That's good. But I noticed at the very beginning of the semesters, when everybody was partying, there were a lot of people running around in colorful overalls. What is that about?
Yeah, so we have we have the student union.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of student associations because we love associations in Sweden in general. There is an association for like literally anything that you can become a member of. But at the university, we have these program associations, as we call them. And then all of the different programs have their own association. For example, engineers have an association called SEKA.
Okay.
And they are wearing black overalls with yellow text. We have the environmental students from my program, and we are called Minks. And we have yellow overalls with green text on it. And then we have the economic students called Karlstad. They have pink overalls with like whatever text on it. Yeah, and so there is a lot of different.
Yes.
It's 19 different program associations.
Yeah, I just noticed it was really colorful, and I was wondering why. What do these colors stand for?
Yeah, so that's it. It stands for what you are studying, and then there is like different competitions in between these associations, and they are doing parties, and it's like just something to be a part of. So during the introduction weeks, everyone has these overalls on, and then different competitions and so on. So, and it's good because you can find your friends. You know, it's easy, like, oh, they are studying the same as me. Or you see a group of people wearing like a specific clothes, and you know that those are hopefully your friends.
Yeah. So it's helpful to not get lost in the first days and weeks here.
Definitely.
And I also noticed that you have like a lot of like writing on it and like some patches that you can collect and sew on it.
Yeah, so this culture with the overalls goes back into the 1600s.
Wow.
Yeah. So it started, I think it started in Lund or in Uppsala, which is some of our oldest universities. And then, I mean, it was the musicians that had these jackets with a lot of patches on it. And then the laboratory, like the chemical and biology students, had their like big like laboratory clothes.
Yeah.
And so they started using them outside of the thing as well to show what they were studying. But it was actually the engineers, I think, that was first with these overalls and so on, because they were engineers, so they had like overalls on it, and they started to put patches on it and so on. And from like as tradition goes, it's only the engineers that should have these overalls, and then everyone else maybe something else. But it became like a tradition to have all these overalls, and then you have different patches, and the patches can come from different things. Like, for example, if you win a competition, you get a patch that shows that you have won this competition. Gustav is really cool because like out of like 300 new students, he get chosen to the best newbie of the year. So he has that patch on his pants. And then when you become a member of the student union, you get the student union patch. And then there is a lot of websites where you can buy all these funny things with funny text on it. Yeah, so that's it basically.
But I think it's such a unique tradition because I have never heard of it before, because we don't have something in Germany like that. We only get like those like bags kind of thing that you can wear where a lot of like newsletters are in when you get them, with some pencils and pens and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's basically it, but we don't have something like those overall things. So it's just very interesting to see that, but I think it's also very cool and unique as well, seeing all
Yeah.
those people running around in different colors.
Yeah, we are actually trying to include exchange students into all of these student associations. So we are trying to work with the associations as much as we can to include the exchange students, because a lot of them would like to be a part of the student associations, but then it has happened that the student associations themselves said like, oh no, this is only for Swedish students, and it's not.
Yeah.
You know, we have read their statutes, and it doesn't stay in their statutes that it's only for Swedish students. Yeah, and they don't really have the right to decide on your nationality or have your view on yourself. You know, we are really liberal in Sweden.
But it's very beautiful that you also want to like include the exchange students as well, because it's, I think, also part of the experience here to go through everything basically.
Yeah, of course. Like you should be able to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just because the people didn't include them, MINC, which is my student association, we always try to include like more and more people into these introduction weeks. So sometimes we don't only have environmental students, we have had economic students and engineer students, exchange students, because their association said that they are not welcome there. And we said like, all right, come on with us. And mostly they have been living in my corridor, so on my flat. And then I just told them that they can hang on to these activities. And some of them actually got the overalls and so on, because they stayed for 1 year, and after like half a year you get the overall.
Wow, that's nice.
So they have their own overall with like mink and the name on it and some patches and so on. So they have something to take home with them to remember the study life in Sweden.
I think it's also a colorful memory of it then, obviously.
Definitely.
Another colorful memory that I can say I will definitely have from my exchange here in Sweden is the housing situation, because it's like we are all very different people living together like a small little family. But I was wondering, is it like normal to get like a free like a place offered as soon as you apply for university? Because when I applied for Karlstad, they came back at me and said like, yeah, that's where you're gonna live. Does that work for your normal students as well?
No.
Oh.
That's only because the university is a part of Erasmus, and then they are trying to house all the exchange students. So they have they cooperate with KBAB, which is like the association or company that owns these buildings. Yeah. So the university is like paying the rent for some of these rooms just to have them saved for the students. And then you have to pay for it when you move here, of course. So it's not for free, but they are paying for all those months when no one lives in there. So that just when new exchange students come, they will be able to move in there.
But you have to apply differently as a student, as a normal student in Karlstad.
Yeah, I have to apply separately. But we don't in Karlstad we don't have and haven't had any problems with the housing situation for students for like a really long time. But in Stockholm, for example, it's terrible. It's really, really hard to find somewhere to live, and it's really expensive. And it starts to get expensive here in Karlstad as well, because there is like a lot of new buildings with like floor heating and so on, and it's student housing, student apartments. Why does everyone have their own washing machine, dishwasher, and floor heating? I don't know. I mean, if they need it and if they want to pay like more than half of their income for it, to go on. But I think that we should focus on building more cheap places for students.
Because not everybody can afford it, obviously.
Exactly.
And I think like our housing situation is pretty good, like sharing everything, and we don't have a problem with that. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it also doesn't work this good for all of the places.
Yeah, right. Looking like at the other buildings. What do you like most about the university, and why?
I like that everything is in the same place, so not spread out over the whole city. It's just in one place.
Yeah.
That's what I like the most. And we have our common areas, and also the housing situation, of course, because it's like really close to the university, and all of the student, or almost all of the student apartments are at the exact same place. So we have like a small student community.
Yeah. Any tips for incoming students?
Just, I don't know, go around and mingle around with people, learn to know new people in the beginning. So definitely when you move here, the first 2 weeks should only be about learning to know new people, because you really need that to have like study buddies and so on. Yeah, that's my greatest tip.
Well, then, thank you for your precious time and for being with me on this podcast episode. And then everybody have a nice Sunday. Spend it with friends, family, or alone. Have a great next week. And we will hear us next Sunday with a new guest. So, as always, see you next week. Hej då, and ha det bra. See ya.